Hello there everyone, this is Phantom Duosi and today I'm going to be doing What If Deku Was a God, the one shot, yes, the movie. Basically because I'm getting really annoying with my freaking recording. It was annoying. It didn't even want to work, so I had to redo this over and over and over and over and over and over again. So this is going to be my fifth try. Hope you guys like it. This is Phantom Duosi here, and let's start the What If. As we see a young man named Izuku Midoriya. He was running away. He was in prison for something he didn't do. As Izuku remember what happened back at UA. He remember this. He remember when his trainer, his master All Might came into came to him in class, grabbed him by the neck, and slammed him onto the wall. As when he remembered this, when he remembered this, he was even more angry and angry and angry. His hair went black after that. His eyes went black as well. If you guys are thinking Uchiha coming up, yeah, maybe, nah. So then when Izuku felt this much anger being released within him, he said, "What's going on?" Then we see, then we see, then we go back to another memory of Izuku. We then see Izuku running. Then we see Izuku being held by Aizawa's robe, by Aizawa's scarf. As Aizawa's scarf was hitting Izuku, making Izuku, making Izuku be wrapped around something as hard as a rock. As Aizawa said, "Problem child, you're going to prison, so now maintain calm. We will do the best we can, so please don't do anything foolish." As Izuku said, "Why in the world would I do anything? What have I done?" As Izuku then, "Sorry about that, I've freaking paused my song." So then Izuku asked, "What have I done?" As Aizawa said, "Don't lie to me, problem child. You have done a lot of things." As Izuku says, "Well, what have I done? I didn't do anything." Then we see All Might and Aizawa rushing in. All Might and Ness rushing in as All Might saw Izuku as he started to get angry and angry and angrier and angrier. As he then said, "You bastard!" as he punched Izuku on the gut in front of Aizawa. Aizawa said, "Oh my, you know that villains still deserve a chance. Why are you doing this to him?" As All Might says, as All Might then hears Izuku. As Izuku says, "What have I done, All Might?" Spitting out blood as All Might says, "You have betrayed us, Izuku. You villain," he means. You literally, you, you bastard. You have, you have given proof to villains. You have shown villains. You have shown villains how, how many bad things or good things could have not have happened." As Izuku then says, what have I done?" As Izuku as then All Might says, "The reason why we're doing this," that's not All Might, Aizawa says, "The reason why we're doing this is because we saw how you framed us. We saw how you given proof to the villains, to to the villains to get to the USJ. As 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 we then see mm, Deku looking at Deku looking at all my and Anesu and Anesu and Aizawa as he said, "What did you said?" As they both said, you told the villains where we were, and now because of you, we were we all of our students were hurt. As Izuku was like, show me proof that I have done it. Tell me why I have done it. Then we see Aizawa bringing up the video that Izuku did. Bringing up the video of Izuku. Basically, he's bringing up the video of Izuku just bringing files from Nesu's class, from Nesu's from Nesu's room to a villain who look a lot like Kurogiri. As Kurogiri, as Kurogiri was smiling at Izuku and said, good job, Izuku. Now we will serve your master Shigaraki and prove to everyone that the League of Villains isn't weak." As Izuku then said, "It wasn't me. I don't have any scar." As then we see all my saying, "What stupid scar?" As Izuku puts his arm up and shows a scar that he gained from punching the zero pointer. He had a scar on his he had a scar on his basically his right arm where he punched the zero pointer, and there was a scar on his hand. As they said, "Wow." Uh, as everyone in the what if, no, not even the what if, as everyone school still didn't believe Izuku, as they punched Izuku, beat him up. Nezu told Aizawa to not do anything, as Aizawa stepped out of it. Then the police came in as they stopped and faked that it was Izuku who was beat up like that. Then we see Izuku being taken to jail, thrown into jail. As we go back to where Izuku was, in jail. This is only a flashback from Izuku. Izuku saw hell being suffered for him. He was day by day beaten up by villains. That he has put into jail. That All Might has been put into jail with. Has been putting into jail. As once a day they come to ask questions to Izuku. As Izuku answers the same things. He didn't do anything. As All Might was getting really pissed just to hearing he didn't do anything. As All Might said, "Why are you?" As All Might said, "You're so stupid. You can't even believe this." As Izuku as we then have Izuku looking at the villain who was beating him up day by day. As the villain came saying, "Hey kid, you're ready for your daily beating?" As Izuku asked, "Why are you doing this to me? What have I done to you?" As as Lucifer, no, not Lucifer. Sorry, I've been watching too much Lucifer from the story from a Netflix series. So I've been watching too much Lucifer. So this story was basically
Geico
inspired
presents
by
two
Lucifer.
truths and a lie. One.
Yeah, basically, I'm really sorry if you heard that. So Izuku was getting beaten up to the limit this time, as the guards that were supposed to cover prison heard Izuku, and and told Izuku, and Saizuku was in the ground, in the floor, all bleeding, as the guards took Izuku to a nursery, to a hospital inside the jail. As the jail, as the jail nurses started to heal Izuku, but they said that Izuku will be in a coma to the point where Izuku would be at least dang it, let me think. Basically, Izuku at the USJ was 15, yeah, 15, I think. I'm gonna pause real quick. How old is it? So yeah, I have figured it out. Izuku Midoriya is basically 19 is 50, basically 15 years old. As Izuku, as the as the nurse said, Izuku will be in a coma for 3 years. As the nurse was, as the guards were shocked, as they said, what in the world? So then we continue to the point where Izuku was to the point where Izuku was in his mind. He was walking around. He was walking around as he saw until he saw two lights. He had it a choice. He could grab the two lights at the same time or only grab one. But he grabbed both of them. Izuku, being the person who wanted power to show the people that he wasn't weak, he grabbed both of the lights. As Izuku had hit grabbed the two lights. When he grabbed the two lights, he gained memories from past gods. He gained the memories of the god of reality, the god of creation, the god of destruction, the actual god, the god of existence, the god of time, the god of elements, and about ki and calibering and everything like that. As Izuku was like, what in the world? As Izuku started to train on all these abilities, knowing that if he trains on all these abilities, he will be the strongest god in the world. Since he already knew once taking these abilities from the other gods, he is known as a god now. As Izuku had at least 3 years, because in his mind it was at least 3,000 years. As Izuku trained for 3,000 years. Now Izuku is 18 years old. When Izuku was around 17, Aizawa decided to do some research on Izuku. And when he did his research on Izuku, he saw that Izuku didn't have any bad records. He didn't have any records on saying he was a villain or that he had a quirk. It showed that Izuku had no quirks. As Nezu and Aizawa, as Aizawa showed Nezu, he basically showed Nezu proved that Izuku wasn't the villain, and he told Nezu about, and he even showed Nezu, and basically he even showed Nezu that Izuku had no bad records of being a villain and stealing anything. As we then see Deku. As we then see Deku when training, he gained a lot of power. Then we see Nezu and Aizawa doing more research, as they found out that it was true. Izuku didn't have his scar, the same scar he was talking about. As Nezu then decided to show everyone in UA, as every class, every student, every grade was even shocked to hear that Izuku wasn't the traitor. as they even feel sorry. All my not even All My was of shock as well. As All My said, "What have I done to young Izuku?" As Inko, Izuku's mother, has died a long time ago. She has died when Izuku was about to graduate from UA. The reason why was that she died. She died because of a certain heart attack. The reason why she died of a certain heart attack was because she was she was basically doing nothing, and a villain with a quirk to attack hearts in under a min no basically it was a quirk with a quirk who was a quirk with it's like this, a villain with a quirk to attack people through their hearts decided to use it on Inko since it was their first time using it. Inko was just at her house through her window. His quirk works through windows. Listen to me. It literally works through windows. As when this happened, Izuku Izuku when Izuku came back from the entrance exam at UA, he saw his mother dead on the ground. He said, Tobi, no, not Tobirama. As Izuku saw his mom and was suppressed for a long time. So he would not become a villain, would he? Then we see then we see then we see then we see Izuku then we see All Might and everyone else trying to get Izuku out of jail. As Izuku was being trained on his own in his mindscape. As all the villains couldn't touch Izuku anymore. When this happened, all the villains saw Izuku. Saw Izuku was in a coma and this was their fault. Izuku was taken out of jail by Nezu, as Nezu told the guards to tell Izuku that he's allowed to come back to UA whenever he wants. And yeah, ship for this will be a girl that I literally had to talk to people in my Discord to see if they like her. And yeah, this is Nolia. She is the daughter of the goddess of She is the goddess of life. Not the daughter of life. She's the daughter of the goddess of life. The reason why she has white hair is because the goddess of life has white hair. The Neko hairs was from her father. Yeah, she is Nolia, the daughter of the goddess of life. Yeah, people from my Discord literally asked them what should her quirk be. Oh yeah, be also expecting what if Issei was the Ghost Rider. I basically said that I will be doing this because someone in my live stream said to do what if Issei was the Ghost Rider and betrayed. So if that person is watching this what if and he comments down below, here's the thumbnail for the what if. Don't think I forgot. I made it. I made the what if thumbnail and I have everything ready. I just have to make the script and everything. So yeah. So then we see Izuku waking up after 3 years of sleep. Izuku woke up. Then Izuku got up from his bed and saw a button-down shirt with basically this. If you see the picture on the thumbnail right now, you can see how Izuku looks like. He's wearing this right now, a bow tie with a button-down shirt and fingerless gloves. As Izuku got up from the chair and left through the door, because he was even told that Nezu found out that he was innocent, so he won't be charged with any charges from anybody at UA, As Izuku nodded, then he left. Then we see Izuku walking around until he was summoned to a world. So yeah, then we see Izuku being sorry about that, everyone. As I was saying, Izuku was basically in front was about to be taken out of jail, and the ship is her, Nolia, the daughter of the goddess of life. Yes, her hair's white because of the goddess of life, and she has the Neko ears because of her father. So her power is called control over the moon and life. Yeah. So she is very powerful. Izuku was taking out when Izuku woke up after 3 years. Izuku woke up, looked around, and put on this clothes. He was in his dreams. He had this clothes on because of the wishes, because of the world he was in. He was given this clothes as it was made reality. This clothes that he has in here right now, the same Izuku you see here. This is how Izuku looks like, but his red eyes are black. As Izuku was woke up and was let out of jail. Reasons why is because Izuku was told by the guards that Nezu told them that Izuku was innocent. Sorry about that. Somehow my screen keeps pausing. As we then see Izuku leaving prison. He was then summoned. Then when he left prison, he was then taken to another world, and this world is called Heaven, where he met God and a lot of other gods. Because the only few gods that are able to even let me say that are able to even have this much power are only the god of reality and existence. But when it comes to Izuku, they were shocked. It was just a kid with black hair and red eye. As the daughter of the goddess of life was already 18 years old as well. She then saw Izuku as she started to blush. The goddess of life got something in a trick in her mind to see if her daughter got kind of had a crush on this man that they summoned. As Izuku said, "So why am I doing in the god realm?" As God says, "You were summoned here by me." Then God asked, "But why?" Then Izuku asked, "But why me? Out of all the mortals you could have summoned, you decide to summon a lowly mortal like me. So I ain't gonna pause real quick." And I'm back. And because of the goddess of life did this trick, she asked her daughter why Izuku wasn't looking, just talking to God. So basically, when I say Hizuku was asking why is he here, he asked that because he didn't get a notice saying that he'll be in front of God and his sisters. He'll be in front of God with the other gods. As Hizuku then said, as we then see Izuku looking at the goddess of life daughter. As the goddess of life daughter says, uh, you, young man, can you please answer me a question? Then Izuku says, yes, goddess of life, as she was struck to see that a mortal like him could know she is the goddess of life. As Izuku said, if you're saying a mortal like me, knowing that you are the goddess of life, is something bad? No, not really. I just don't understand the reason of why should I be shocked that you're the goddess of life. Uh, she was kind of shocked and weird out at the same time, but she didn't care. As she asked, I have a deal to make with you, as Izuku said. What is the deal? If you lose, you will do something for me. But if I win, you will do something for you. I will do anything for you. I could even become your slave if you want. As Izuku said, then Izuku said, so you'll become my slave if I tell you, if I, sadness and greed. Okay, give me a moment. As the goddess of life said, yes, I will become your slave. As Izuku says, oh. Sorry about the pause, everyone. This is just like he's pausing out of the nowhere. So it's basically Izuku versus the goddess of life. As the goddess of life was in her fighting stand, in her fighting stance. As we then see, as we then see, Izuku in his fighting stand. He was just up. He was standing straight, pointing one finger. As the goddess of life said, "You're not gonna fight me with full power." As Izuku said, "I'm gonna use 1%. I haven't used 1% in a while." So they say, "What do you mean you haven't used 1% in a while?" I'm gonna pause real quick. Sorry about that. As Izuku was fighting again, was fighting with the goddess of death, with the goddess of life. She was running. She started to go towards Izuku. She appeared in front of Izuku, and under an instinct, she punched Izuku, but Izuku dodged it. As everyone was shocked, Izuku kept dodging, punch to punch, 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 punch to punch. As the goddess of life was like, "What is this kid?" Izuku then kept dodging and dodging and dodging and dodging and dodging. As he said, "Oh, what's wrong, goddess of life? Are you seeing a ghost?" As he smirked at her. Then she said, "You will die." As he punched, as he went for a punch. As Izuku then said, like heck I will." He then dropped down, landed on his arms, jumped up, and kicked the goddess of life up into the air. Then he said, then he said, then he snapped, and he said, "Scythe of destruction." As a, basically a slash happened, slashing through the goddess of life, not actually cutting her, but not actually killing her, but it's basically just cutting her to the point where her mana will be drained now. As Izuku then said, "Now it's my turn." As he snapped again. He then snapped again, and then he snapped again, and his eyes went red. A blue aura appeared around him as he punched the air pressure around him, making the air get destroyed. As everyone was shocked, the air around the goddess of life that allowed her to float in the air was taken away. As Izuku then made the air get into a shape, but then it was two giant fists. As Izuku went into a real fighting stance, and he punched one time the air. Then the actual giant fists that were made out of air punched the goddess of life, sending her flying towards the ground. As he then did it over and over and over and over. As he then started to say, useless, 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 useless. As everyone was hearing this, he was saying this over and over and over and over and over and over and over. As Izuku then said, "Now." As he then, as he then, as he then, as he then shot his hand up, making the water that she was about to land in blow up and catch it. As he then the other fire arm, as the other wind arm hit, punched the goddess of life, making her going unconscious. As Izuku then deactivated his red eyes, as he then activated them again and pouring out a blast as they did heal the goddess, waking her up. Then the goddess of life said, well, it looks like you win. Alright. Then Izuku said, alright, I want your daughter's hand to marriage. As the goddess of life heard hand to marriage, when she heard that, she started to jump up and down in happiness, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Then, when the goddess of life saw that, she looked at her daughter and said, you hear that? He wants you to marry him. As Izuku looked at her and smiled and said, when the goddess of the okay, give me a second, I'm gonna pause. Okay. Then Nolia, the goddess of life daughter, decided to just accept it. As she said, well then Izuku, I'll be going with you to UA. As Izuku said, how do you know I was going to UA? Then she pointed at God. As God said, it was me who told her. As Izuku then said, oh my god. Well then, I'll be leaving. As he teleported away. As she said, hey, you forgot me. As Izuku then said, oh, I'm behind you. I didn't teleport back to UA. As she blushed and said, why are you? Then Izuku smiled and then got closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and even more closer than I thought I would say. As Isuku then kissed her on the lips, as the goddess of life said, "Wow, yeesh! I never thought that he would move so fast." As Isuku then said, "Well, now that means you're mine." As Isuku smiled, and she smiled back with a freaking blushing face. As Isuku then said, "Well, time to go." As she smiled and said yes, as they both held hands and they left the UA. And yes, in the outside world it has been a month, but to the gods it's only been 1 minute. As they wonder what happened to Izuku in over a month. Then we see a Nezu coming in with Izuku and a girl. As the girl said, "Hi there, my name is, my name is, my name is, I don't know what to say." As she said, "Hi there, my name is Nolia." As Izuku then said, "You guys should already know me." As Izuku said, as Izuku said, as Izuku then basically then got someone, then got a feeling someone was bothering him. Something was staring at him and telling him, "Why, Izuku? Why do you have to go and cheat on me?" As Izuku then looked to his right and saw and basically saw Ochako Uraraka staring at her and staring at Nolia. As Nolia looked at Uraraka and said, "I don't." As by the stare that she gave, that Nolia gave Uraraka, she in that stare, she can technically say that she can Uraraka can know that this girl will kill her if she doesn't let go of her Izuku. As Uraraka was scared as heck. She then said, never miss with cat ear girl." I'm gonna start calling her that for now. As Isuku basically got, as we then go into the, where Aizawa says, "Well, problem child, welcome back." As Isuku looked at Aizawa and said, "I see, Aizawa. It was you who helped me." It was you who helped me escape, who helped me escape prison. Thank you. As Aizawa was shocked, and then he asked Isuku, "How did I know?" As Isuku said, "I have my ways." As Bakugo said, "What is this quirkless nerd doing back here?" As Isuku says, mm, "I don't remember. I don't remember looking for a Pomeranian here." And as Bakugo got pissed and said, "You nerd, you're going to die." As Bakugo went straight to hit Izuku. As Izuku's eyes turned red, he literally canceled out Bakugo's quirk. As Aizawa said, "You have my quirk?" As Izuku said, "I have multiple quirks." As Izuku started to walk to his seat with Nolia holding his hand. As Shizuku and Nolia sat next to each other. As Aizawa said, "This problem child has gone through a lot of pain if he unlocked his quirk this early." As Izuku said, "Huh, looks like they think I work for All for One." As Izuku then says to do his telekinesis, he then says, "Don't worry, Aizawa, I don't work for All for One. I just have a quirk. I just have a quirk with multiple abilities. You can call it God." As Aizawa heard God and said and asked, "How are you talking through me through my ears?" As Izuku says, "I'm talking through you through your head because it's getting boring, so I decided to talk through here." Uh, as Aizawa said, "Is this really Problem Child?" As Izuku said, "If you're talking about Problem Child who has been sent to prison 3 years ago and came back looking like me, yes, that's me." As Aizawa then said nothing anymore. As Aizawa said, "Well, everyone, we'll be doing the sport festival." And yes, they were. This is Izuku's third. Wait a minute. This is basically college. This is basically college. What am I saying? College. As in college, Izuku will be having the overhaul arc. Basically the and agencies, but Izuku won't be going to the agencies. He will, and the sports festival. As Aizawa says, we'll be having the UA College Sports Festival. As they all said, but didn't we just, as Ida said, didn't we just have the UA Sports Festival 3 years ago? As Ida said, Aizawa said, this sports festival will allow you all to use your quirk at full power and pick and get an agency to become actually a hero in training, meaning a hero who can use their quirk outside without permission from their agency person. As Izuku was like, "No, interesting." Then Nolia talked through Izuku through his mental link that he built for both of them. As she said, "Which agency are you going to?" As Izuku said, "I remember, I remember someone talking through me through my head, and she said Gran Torino." She kept saying something about Gran Torino, but she's long gone, I think. As Izuku looked at Nolia and smiled, as Nolia smiled at Izuku, and blushing a bit because she remembered that she and Izuku are getting engaged as well. As she smiled a bit, then Izuku said, "Well then, when is the sports festival?" Yelling it out. As Aizawa said, the sports festival is in 2 days. So you guys, since you guys already been trained through high school and to come to college already. But Izuku will be having you a quirk examination to see if you will go into the college. As Izuku nodded, and Nolia as well. As Izuku and Nolia got up and went outside. As all the heroes, top 10 heroes, were supposed to be there because of Natsu. As Izuku looked at all of them and said, "Welcome, top 10 heroes. Happy to see me?" As his eyes flashed red, they all were scared. They were all shitting their pants. As Izuku then said, "Huh, Don't tell me heroes can now handle some bloodlust. As Izuku then looked at All Might instead, especially you, All Might. As Izuku then looked at Aizawa and said, "Full power or minimum power?" As Shizuku said, Izuku and Izuku looked at Noli and said, "Only use minimum power." And yes, I had something to say before I start. For the person who gave me the idea for what if Issei was the Ghost Rider, here's the thumbnail for it. I'll be doing the what if after I finish this one shot. So you can be expecting that in a few days. As Izuku was told Izawa that if he used full power, he'll have to reverse time and make the Earth be back to normal. As Izawa said, okay, use minimum power. As Izuku used 1%, and he literally got infinite just by using 1%. As Izuku said, even 1% could just give me infinite, right? As Aizawa looked and he saw that the thing machine was literally with an infinite sign. As Aizawa just with his mouth open, he said, how did you get infinite?" As Izuku then said, "Infinite comes to anyone with power. Power is everything in this world, right, All Might?" Looking at All Might. As Izuku's eyes flashed red and went back to normal. As he then kissed Noli on her cheek, saying, "Good luck," as she smiled. Then she basically used her quirk of to get energy from the moon to boost her strength and thing as she threw it and she got at least a good 9,000, a good at least 9,300. As when Izuku got a good, as Izuku smiled and said, "Good job." And she smiled and said, "Thank you." As we see Izuku, and as Izuku then was giving a letter from Aizawa saying that the USJ will be 2 days from now in a few hours. 2 days from now, at this certain time, as we skip 2 days, Nolia and Izuku have been going on dates mostly all the time. Because Izuku basically has enough money to be going to dates that not even I could imagine. That's what I'll say. So basically, we see. I'll be coming back real. I'm gonna pause real quick. Well, I'm back. So we're going to the part where the sports festival is at. As this is where Izuku. So everything goes to canon, but Nolia was again Oraka this time. As Oraka and Nolia's fight was really interesting. It was like this. Imagine red versus blue. This time, Nolia was blue and Oraka was red. Oraka tried to use her gravity quirk on Nolia, but Nolia just used her life and death and snap, killing Oraka, snapping again, reviving Oraka, snap, killing Oraka, snap, reviving Oraka, snap, killing Oraka, snap again, reviving Oraka. This is basically Ano's Vondigo type of magic right now. As Uraka said, "I give up," as she smiled and said, as she then Nolia went close to Uraka and said something on her ear. As she says, no, as Izuku uses God powers to listen in. As he heard, "Don't ever tell, don't ever touch my Izuku." As when Izuku heard this, he was like, "I love that girl." As we then see God, as we then we see Izuku looking at basically looking at Shinzo. As Shinzo said, "Well, you're Izuku Midoriya, the one they framed, the one everyone believed it was the villain." As Izuku laughed and said, "Her name must be Shinzo." The one who has a quirk to brainwash people, right? As Shinzo was shocked. Izuku wasn't brainwashed, as Izuku said. You might be wondering why I was brainwashed. You might be wondering why I wasn't brainwashed, but the reason is because I don't have a brain. I cannot be brainwashed. My head, my head is basically untouchable to any ordinary person. As when they heard that, no one believed that. As Izuku was like, I don't care. Then Izuku appeared right in front of Shinzo and touched them once and sent them flying. As Izuku, as Izuku saw as Izuku saw Shinzo land on the ground softly, while the punch was strong enough to send them flying. The touch was strong enough to send them flying out of the ring. As Shinzo looked at Izuku and said, Why didn't you just hit me?" As Izuku said, "I don't like damaging people that I see worthy of not being killed." As Izuku was shocked, as Izuku looked at the looked at Shinzo, and Shinzo smiled as Izuku smiled back. Then Shinzo said, "You win." As Izuku smiled. Then President Mike says, "Shinzo loses. Izuku Midoriya wins." And this one, Inko loved Izuku, so I can't say that Inko hated him. As we skip the sports festival, we go to the agencies. As we go to the agencies, I'm gonna pause real. So basically, we continue to the agency. Aizawa says Izuku has been chosen for 7 agencies. Izuku has been chosen for 10,000 agencies. Todoroki, 5,000 agencies. Bakugo, 1,000 agencies. Nolia, 9,000 agencies. As when Izuku heard this, he was like, "What in the world? I'm not even that powerful." Nolia heard this, she said, "What are you saying? You're like the most powerful person I ever met." As when Izuku heard this, he started to laugh and said, "I am not that powerful." When Izuku heard this from her, she just started to get mad at Izuku and hit him on the head, saying, "Don't ever say that you're not strong, because you literally beat everyone in the sports festival within a second." As Izuku said, "No, okay." Then Izuku looked at Nolia and said, Nolia, and say, "Well, you have a point there." So then we go to the agencies. Izuku chooses Gran Torino's agency because of him hearing good things about it from All Might. And since he knows that the Gran Torino won't treat him like that because of All Might, because he remembers how All Might used to treat him before he found out he was a villain, and he knows that Gran Torino was even not like that. As he chose Gran Torino. And Nolia went to an agency her mother made up. Right? Her mother made up an agency just to train her daughter. Isn't that funny? Uh, the agencies went to canon because of Izuku being with Gran Torino. Gran Torino saw how strong Izuku was, and they didn't even actually teach Izuku anything. He just told Izuku stories about Nana and the quirk One for All, telling as the quirk when Izuku heard about the quirk One for All, he just started laughing and saying, "Wow, so Gran Torino, so Gran Torino, Gran Torino was none of that really that hard of a hard to train." As Izuku said, as and then Gran Torino said, "Yes, she was a hard trainer on poor Toshinari." Shizuku said, "Wow, I can feel that." Shizuku, Shizuku Shizuku was Shizuku and Gran Torino went out to do some to do some to do some how do you call them, watching around the city, protecting their cities. So then we continue to where Izuku was, where basically the Nomos attack. This is a second barrage of Nomos. As the Nomos as the Nomos were attacking as the Nomos were attacking everyone. Izuku was like, oh my god, didn't they have enough last year? As activated 25%. He swiped once in the air, killing every normal from existence. As Izuku then said, "That is stupid. They don't even have enough power to even give me a challenge." As he then saw Nolia and his mother from in the sky watching, and her mother in the sky watching, as Izuku instantly appeared in front of both of them and said, "You both could have done something, and you decided to watch." As they both look at each other and start laughing, as Izuku then said, "So you just wanted me to come and save them." As as Nolia's mother said, "No, it was just my daughter over here wanted to see her boyfriend at work." When Izuku heard that, he was like, "I'm going to." As she then went towards Izuku and kissed him on the cheek. Then Nolia went towards Izuku and kissed him on the cheek and said, "You're going to do what?" As Izuku then said, "Never mind," blushing with a blushing face. Then we see Izuku. Then we see Izuku. We see Izuku with Noli on the sky watching as all the normals were killed. Everyone was safe because Izuku just swiped one time, killing every normal. As the Izuku only let one going back to his human form, so the heroes can capture him. As the heroes capture him, the Stain arc already happened. It went to canon with Ida getting his revenge this time. As we then see as we then see as we then basically see Ida as we then see Ida and everyone else going back to class. Izuku went back to class with Nolia, as it was the second agencies. Izuku Izuku decided to go to another agency, as we then see Izuku and Nolia going to another agency with the god of life, with the not the goddess of life. So basically, it was Izuku and the goddess. It was Izuku and Nolia going to the goddess of life again. She wasn't busy, as she decided to uh, to be with them again. As we continue to where Izuku was at the overhaul arc. We see the overhaul arc. Everything was usual. Every hero was summoned by Night Eye, and Night Eye did the same speeches. It was Miro this time who saw Eri. As Izuku could see Eri this far away, as he said, "I should have saved this girl." As Izuku saw Eri be treated bad by basically by Overhaul. As Muriel saw Overhaul be taken Eri away. As Overhaul told Night Eye about it, Night Eye summoned all the heroes, including Izuku and Nolia, and the goddess of life went back to heaven. As Then Izuku told the goddess of life put him in charge, as Naida just said nothing because he didn't trust a kid. As all the heroes were shaking in fear when they saw Izuku, because they remember this kid just swiped once and he destroyed every normal. Then we go to the part where they go into the house, where they're going to overhaul's headquarters. As Izuku then says, "Stop! I'm not gonna let anyone die on my view." As Izuku put a wall pressure and walked in, as he looked at his girlfriend, aka fiance, as he looked at her and said, as he then told her to give her his hand, as he put a ring in her hand, as he said, "Don't worry, me and you will get married after I finish this." She started to cry, saying, "If you die, I'm going to heaven and bringing you back." As Izuku laughed and said, like hell, I'm going to die." As he went inside, he swiped everything once, erasing it clean, as everyone could see the whole floor. As they could see Overhaul going to the other side of the headquarters. Izuku, as four large wings appear behind Izuku, telling Izuku, as the four wings were glowing in different color. One was glowing red, the other one was glowing blue, the other one was glowing white, and the other one was glowing yellow. As Izuku then swiped the blue one, control, going fast. As everyone thought they saw an angel, as Izuku landed in front of Overhaul, as he kicked Overhaul. As everything went to cannon, Izuku, Eri still went with Overhaul, as Eri then saw Izuku trying to fly towards her. As Eri decided to jump towards Izuku. As when Izuku caught Eri, he carried her on his arms with his wings floating. As everyone could see Izuku and Eri and Overhaul in the sky. Overhaul was in his massive, person, trying to destroy Eri and Izuku. As Izuku and Eri, Izuku put Eri on his back with one of his wings, holding with the two bottom wings holding Eri, as the other two wings were floating Izuku up into the sky. As Izuku then said, "This is the true power of a god." As Izuku's body started to glow in many colors, his eyes turned rainbow. His hair his hair started to glow many colors as well. As Izuku then punched as Izuku then made a fist, he punched through the air, sending Overhaul flying. As Izuku then said, "Angel Strike." The Angel Strike was a combination of many different quirks and many different abilities, as it destroyed Overhaul from the inside, making him go unconscious. His quirk was erased. It was given to Izuku, as Izuku said, "Huh, interesting." As Izuku, then we're going basically everything. Remember, like I said, the training forest thing already happened because Izuku wasn't in it. So the overhaul fight to the All Might versus All for One will happen in this one. As Izuku was flying down with Eri, he smiled at her and said, "Don't worry, Eri. You'll be adopted by me. You'll be having a better life." As Eri was adopted by Izuku. Basically, when this passed, a few weeks passed. Then, some way, somehow, Bakugo was captured by the League of Villains to convince him to joining them. As All Might was missing his successor. Yes, Bakugo is the successor of All Might. As All Might say, as All Might said to Class 1A to get ready, we're going to go fight All for One. As All Might didn't get his wound that bad, Izuku got up and said, "Oh my god, I have to save that angry Pomeranian." As Izuku and the angry Pomeranian, as Izuku went and and yes, Izuku literally brought his mother back. "I'm begging to God, if I ever kill Inko and I make Izuku the most OP character in the world, I am somehow making him an ability to bring Inko back." As Izuku brought Inko back, and showed Inko his new adopted daughter. As Eri was with Inko. Then when Inko met Nolia, she was like, "Oh, oh wow." So basically, as Izuku said, as basically and Izuku introduced Nolia to basically when Izuku did that, Izuku introduced Nolia to to his mother Inko. As Inko, when she heard that Nolia is Izuku's fiance, she was jumping up and down. I'm about to have grandkids. And she already had one. She's even more happy to have original grandkids. So basically, after when Izuku and Nolia have a kid, one of their kids will have all of Izuku's powers, and the other kid will have all the Izuku's powers. One of them will have all Izuku's powers and his mother's powers. But if one of them has all of Izuku's powers, he's gonna be more stronger than the one with Izuku's powers and his mother's powers. Because Izuku's stronger than Nolia, but if you combine both of them into one, there's even nice. Izuku was still more stronger. God, I can't say his name. As Izuku and Nolia were at the hideout, Izuku then said, "I, I give up." As he then put his hands up and said, 1 million hands. As 1 million hands made out of rock appear, Izuku points it at the building and launches them. The building was destroyed into one as All for One came out. The fight went to canon with All for One and All Might, but All Might was deflated, as Izuku then said, "Well, All Might," as Izuku then appeared in nowhere with his girlfriend on his bridal style. While she's blushing, as Izuku said, "Well, All Might, looks like you're even tired than I thought," as All Might was looking at Izuku saying, "What in the world?" Sorry about that, Sorry about that. Izuku looked at All Might and said, "Hey, All Might, All Might, All Might. Well, All for One, time to go to hell. My friend Lucifer told me that he needed your soul to complete his list of the underworld. So, I think you'll make a good torturing tool." As as All for One laughs and said, "Ha! Like you'll ever be able to," as Izuku swiped once, killing All for One. As Izuku then brought him back to life, put him to prison, but then he put a thing inside of All for One, saying to kill him when he gets inside of it, when he gets in prison. As when everyone saw he only swiped once, he killed All for One, the strongest villain, was only killed with one swipe. As Izuku looked at Nolia and kissed her on the lips, as he said, "Well then, in a few weeks our wedding will be ready." As he said, when she heard wedding, she started blushing so hard that Izuku started to laugh. As we then see Nolia and Izuku having their wedding. So it was basically in the human realm. It was every god, every angel, and every even Lucifer was there. As it was God who was the one giving the blessing to get them married. As then we see Izuku and Noli. Izuku and Noli are having their happiest moments. As God said, "May you kiss the bride." As Izuku and Noli kissed each other. Izuku has finally gained the life he always wanted. As Inko was happy for his son. As Nolia and Izuku went to their honeymoon, and then we skip this. Okay, you guys could comment down below what they did in their honeymoon. It's your choice. As Izuku as Izuku a few weeks later after they came back, he was having fun. He was basically spending time with as Izuku was the third rank hero for now. But then in the hero community, they decided to make Izuku number one hero after he finishes his last month of UA, and he did. Izuku was the number one hero after he'll have his kid. Yes. Nolia was in the bathroom vomiting. Izuku then said, "Oh no, let me guess, got kid this way." Yeesh. Izuku then went to Nolia and told her, "Are you okay?" As Nolia said, "I think I'm pregnant." As Izuku said, "No wonder, Sherlock." As she said, "Hey, no calling me names." As Izuku laughed and said, "I won't." And Inko did met the goddess of life. And the goddess of life let Izuku bring her mother back. Because she know that she can't fight Izuku. Izuku could just be like, 1, 2, 3, slapping her and he'll kill her. As Izuku said, "Well, Mom, I think I'm gonna have a kid." As Izuku, as Eri said, "I'm gonna have a brother." As yes, Eri started to call Izuku Papa and Nolia Mama. So when Izuku, yeah, mostly all of my what ifs are making Izuku adopt Eri. I don't know why, but I like it. Oh my god, I'm gonna continue as we see All Might giving out the award to Izuku for sending All for One to prison and becoming the number one hero. Izuku Mido as we go to the award ceremony. As we see Nolia with her mother, the goddess of life in her human form. As the award was given to Izuku, as All Might gave his speech. As the past number one hero, I hereby give Izuku Midoriya, as my position as the number one hero. As Izuku became the number one hero of UA. And after a few years of being the hero, Izuku's kid was born. He had white hair like his mother. He had white hair like his mother, and he added Izuku's personalities with all of Izuku's powers. As they had another kid who added a half and half of their powers. He added a half between the life and death control, and a half between all of Izuku's other powers. So yeah, they have two strong kids who will. One will be the second rank hero, and the other one will be the number one hero. And Nolia is the second rank hero, so they be making money like crazy. So we see Eri playing around with both of her twin brothers, as she was playing around with them. Yes, they had one, not twin brother, twins. They had one girl, one boy. As they were all playing around, Izuku came home and said, "I'm home." As Inko then said, hi there, honey, hi there." As Izuku then said, "Hi, Mom, where is Nolia?" As Nolia says she's in the kitchen. As Izuku went to the kitchen and kissed Nolia. And basically, they live in a freaking mansion. Imagine the Batman mansion for 20 times much bigger. As Izuku went to went to the living room to play with his kids as he was playing. So yeah, he was playing with them. So this is the story of how Izuku Midoriya became a god. Thank you guys for watching. This is Phantom Duos here, and goodbye. Hope you guys enjoyed the one shot. This is one of my favorite one shot that I have done because I got to add gods into this and everything. And yeah, for my subscriber on my live stream, don't worry, you'll be seeing your What If Issei was the Ghost Rider coming out tomorrow. So get ready for What If Issei was the Ghost Rider. Thank you guys for watching. This is Phantom Duels here, and I am out. Have a good day. Have a good night wherever you are. Make sure to stay safe. Thank you.